You're listening to Rodney Rogers Outdoors Radio, where we turn it upside down and look at the outside from the inside out. It's safe, it's legal, and we're having a blast. So put your shoes on, my friend, because we're going outdoors.
Welcome to Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I'm Rodney Rogers. That right there is my partner, Coach Easy Crime, Mike the Man himself. Shake it off.
If you're not on board,
You're not on.
you've been left behind, buddy.
Mike the Man Coy. How are you, brother?
I'm good.
This is, this is our 1 hour vacation for the night.
It's a coincidence meeting you here again.
It's very quinky dinky. Let me give you some shout outs of how you can get a hold of us tonight. You can hashtag us.
Lay it down, Rodney.
If you're on Twitter at hashtag RROR. You can also give us a call if you have any comments or questions at R262. I'm there again. I'm about to yell out my driver's license.
You got him. Bank account.
262-345-7763. For those of you that don't know, that spells out RROD, Rodney Rogers Outdoors. So it's 262-345-RROD. How's that sound?
RROD.
If you can't spell, it's 7763.
Yeah.
That's what I'm screaming.
So you did the Twitter thing.
So we did the Twitter thing, hashtag RROR. That will go right to Mike's face. Mike will send it through his eyeballs, through the medulla oblongata, right out his mouth, into the microphone.
I'm going to pre-warn you.
Uh-oh.
I totally forgot to tell you.
Yeah, your medulla oblongata's messed up.
You know how I like to play.
I do. I do know how you like to play, Mike.
So if at any time the lights just start flashing,
pay no mind.
it means somebody hashtagged RROR.
No way.
So
Mike,
if you guys want to test this theory,
if you hashtag,
if you want to play with our lights
Jen,
here live in the studio,
yeah, you can actually flash our lights. Apparently,
Yeah.
that is actually pretty cool.
yeah. I was playing around the other night, and my wife's in the other room. She goes, "Mike, like it's good. It's me.
We
Just
got a hashtag.
doing some testing."
we got this. I can't imagine your wife on the weekends
Yeah,
when you've had your other shoulder surgery. So I'm going to ask you how you're doing from that. Looks like you're recovering pretty good.
We're doing all right. We're doing all right. This one's still being able to serve up the coffee. So
Okay, so you're
life
good.
is good.
So you've been in the office playing. You've been editing videos. So we got to do some put some voices to some stuff. So I got a feeling we got a lot of stuff coming up.
We've made some progress with the downtime that we have.
Good, man. And so I can imagine your wife with flashy lights. She's just
Yeah. So we'll see. Now, if the light starts flashing now, I don't know what the delay is. I'm going to be quite honestly. This has not been tested and tried.
right.
They will flash.
Right.
It might be like at 3 a.m, but they'll flash. So let's
That
feel
will be
free to
awesome.
test that. Speaking of Twitter,
Okay.
are we fans of Twitter? We're not.
It's hard, man. I am a fan of Twitter because a lot of people are. It's just one of those things I can't get the hang of for some reason.
I'm a fairly techie guy, and I have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around for 8 years solid now, and I still have troubles wrapping my head around it.
I do too.
I like the fact it can blink our lights. I mean, that's cool, right?
Twitter, do you know you can blink our lights now?
But we were in bed the other night, and my wife wakes me up and goes, "Did you hear that sound?" I'm like, "No, sweetie."
What sound?
She goes, "It sounded like an explosion or something."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I'm like, "No, I didn't." And as we're sitting there listening, boom, boom. I'm like, that was a sonic boom.
Yeah.
I mean, it rattled the windows.
Right,
That
right.
was a sonic boom. So I said, let me launch Twitter. Again, I'm not a Twitter expert by any means. I'm still figuring it out. But let me launch. And she's like, "Why are you launching Twitter?" I'm like, because it's, from what I understand, it's instant access. So I launched Twitter and just searched for Orlando. And the first thing popped up was, "Did anybody else hear a loud boom?" And next thing you know,
there it was.
they started flooding in saying SpaceX just landed or returned or did whatever its thing.
Yeah.
So I was like pretty fascinated by this whole
Twitter has
the
its
real
whole,
time.
Yeah.
It's good for that real time what's going on now thing. I mean, there's enough people in the world that's using it explicitly now. So, and then the other thing, we watched the Republican convention the other night.
Right. From Twitter?
No, but I
Oh,
said,
okay.
"Hey, you know what? Here's a good time to launch Twitter."
Yeah.
When Donald Trump's wife was speaking, and it adds a whole nother dimension
I can
to
imagine.
real time TV
I can
watching.
imagine.
It's like sitting in a room with hundreds sarcastic people of all
Hundreds?
opinions.
You mean
yeah.
millions?
The millions. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I
was.
think
It was quite
you
funny.
underestimated that one.
But
a
I
little
think that the biggest one, no matter which side of the fence you stand on, the one that stuck with me is going, I can't believe this is real life.
bit. Oh no.
I mean, this election year is like, this is real. This is
What-
really
you know what?
happening.
We don't get into political
No.
stuff for that reason.
No.
But I can't either. How's that? So.
Stay with us, Todd. Todd's testing the lights, so if something,
Todd's going to test the lights.
'cause I think there's a delay. So
Exactly.
if you do hashtag us, this will be the delay of how long you can at least expect it for. If I don't see the screen for my wife to start screaming in the other room.
Yeah, she'd be like, "Who's flashing? Who's hashtagging us?" So, Mike, we're gonna get right into it. Obviously, we went to ICAST. That was an absolute blast. I went to all 3 days of ICAST, and
You're a madman.
I still didn't get to see it all.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally, we got to take Todd, who's my nephew, and actually shoots us a lot of good questions.
Yeah.
So we got to take your wife Kim.
Yep.
We got to take Lisa to Hashcash.
She does not like it when you call her to
Hashcash. So we got to take a lot of people that wanted to go to ICAST, and we got to meet so many cool people. I'll tell you a ton of people I enjoyed meeting. Alan Beecher, our peacock fisherman from South Florida that we follow. Obviously, we got to see Vance and Cullen, his brother. I mean, we got to see all the people that we look forward to see, that we've done a lot for. One of my exciting people that I got to meet was Zach Yarborough. If you go to Zach Yarborough on our Facebook,
really?
Zach Yarborough Outdoors, he's with Pelagic. Pelagic, how do you say that? The fish, Pelagic wear, phenomenal wear. We got to sit and talk to him for a bit. Man, I cannot wait to sit down and talk to Zach on a good level. And we got to take Alan Beecher fishing. He caught some good bass. I wanted him to stay in front of me so he could do some bass fishing.
Where did you go?
We went to where Hector and I, HP Hollow Point, where we normally do our fishing run, and Hector and I wanted him to really catch into some good fish. So, we got to do some awesome fishing this weekend. So we definitely put some miles on our feet, and we got Ryan. I got to see Ryan this weekend.
Oh yeah, Ryan.
Ryan Smith, who's one of our followers from Kansas. Did you get to meet him?
I did not.
You did not?
No.
That's right. That's right.
Just via FaceTime Live.
Yeah. Ryan just said, now here's something for you. Ryan comes in from Kansas City and says, "Hey, Rodney, how far is Ocala from you?" And I said, "It's about an hour and a half." And he goes, "Oh, man, bummer because I'm going to be there." And I'm like, "Awesome. I'll come see you."
Yeah.
So we drove an hour and a half and went and seen Ryan. Ryan is a truck driver, so he drove his truck down here to Orlando, parked it here, and we took him fishing Sunday. He caught some really good fish.
Did he do all right?
He did, dude. He jammed up. He caught 5 bass.
Oh, that's great.
Lost a really big bass due to a pole that I gave him that was a little bit. It finally gave out.
Oh,
And of all
really?
times for it to give out was, hashtag RROR.
Okay, so yeah, I have several people doing it now, testing my truth, and I thank you. Oh yeah, Hollow Point, Randy, all.
Yeah. So.
Right.
The lights are definitely flashing.
Now here's the problem: they're probably going to flash for the next 15 minutes continuously.
Yeah,
so this might end up being our disco show.
So it does work. Awesome, dude. I would give you
3
a high
minutes,
five.
3 minutes, 4 minutes. So yeah, it looks like about a 4-minute delay.
4-minute delay.
So now every minute now we're going to have some flashing lights thanks to Hollow Point and Randy.
Those guys jam. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Hollow Point. He just caught his first 8-pound bass.
Really?
He's on that chase for the 10-pound bass. So he just caught his first 8. So good job, my man. That's awesome. He's chasing. He caught a 6-pounder when we were out the other day. So, man, Mike.
No, life is good. ICAST was a little overwhelming for me. It was my first day out after my surgery, so quite honestly, I tapped out a little bit early that day. It was a full day, but with OxyContin.
Understandable, because we were there, 4 or 5 hours? And and we didn't get to see.
Right, but I was reserving my energy because we went to the line cutters party that night.
Yes, we did.
Special guest Rodney Rogers Outdoors. I was very impressed by that whole thing.
We were special guests at the line cutters party.
That was very
awesome.
cool.
And I won. You know what's funny is
that T-shirt. No, that wasn't that. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
You won the T-shirt, but that was at the GoPro booth.
So we're all sitting around the table, and they're giving away a $160 rod, $170 rod, fishing rod with the whole package, the kayak rod, and they've drawn people's names. And I said, okay, well, what do you guys want me to say for my acceptance speech? Just joking around,
right, of course,
you know. And I said, okay, you're about to call Rodney Rogers. What should I say? And then all of a sudden he calls Rodney Rogers, and I think I was much as surprised as anybody.
That's hilarious.
So I got to fish with that rod this weekend.
That's
I absolutely love it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
How light they are.
Oh, dude. Isn't that crazy?
You know what? It's funny. Even without fishing with a rod that light, I was thinking about this after ICAST.
Right.
When you start to get that light and can start noticing the nuances at such a minute level, everything starts falling into place.
It makes more sense there,
Where
doesn't
if
it?
you're reeling and you can tell the difference whether you're pulling across a bed of weeds or a rock or actually got a bite, all these things add up.
Now,
Yeah,
it makes sense. Yeah.
Even without having fished, just holding one, going, this is unbelievable.
Yeah, and that's a McCain fishing rod, and that's the Line Cutters Edition McCain fishing rod. We got to hang out with Mr. McCain himself.
He was right behind you, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. He came over and goes, "Oh, Rodney, you won the rod. Awesome!" You know, so we got to hang out with Mr. McCain, the inventor and designer, and you know the maker of the rod. So that was another awesome. I haven't even posted those pictures yet. I've been so far behind. So
well, this week has been a whirlwind. That's for sure.
It has been a whirlwind. So you know what? I just want to, Mike. Do you know what this is?
That is, I do know this. It's one of two things.
Okay.
Nope, I don't know.
Well,
it looks like, I want to say something Indian. It's definitely something.
This is an Indian, what's called an Indian wing call.
Is it really?
This is made from the turkey wing, and this is how the Indians called the turkeys. You know.
Okay, what's your wire on the thing so we don't distort your sound? You're
way
good.
before me. So, this is how they did it, and I've been wanting one for years. So,
is this really happening?
This is really happening. So, cool. I'm going to do the Indian turkey call. You ready? From the wing of the turkey. Here we go. Does that sound like a turkey?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Is that a dying turkey? What did I say in turkey, actually?
We'll wait and see what happens.
So it takes a little practice to get that turkey call down, but man, I have wanted one of these for years.
So is that an actual turkey wing?
This is an actual bones from a turkey wing.
Really?
Yeah, and it's from BCR game calls that when I went to the hunt show. I know we're going to step back a week, but
may I give it a shot?
Oh, by God!
No, not the business card.
Yes. So
he's like, no, but I'll let you play with the business card.
You ready?
Sorry, I caught you off guard there.
You're good. I've got somehow. Okay, here we go. I got this. So basically, you're not going to blow. You're going to go. You're going to suck. There you go. And you're going to touch it to your lips. There you go. You got it. Well, that's. This is beautiful. You're doing very well.
I'm thinking it's 3:00 in the morning. All is silent.
Right. All is silent.
The wife is soundly sleeping.
And you want to practice.
Oh, yeah, I do. Heck yeah, now's the perfect time,
Now's
right?
the time. It's quiet. The woods.
Are you holding your hand over?
No, so here's what I'm doing. I'm cupping my hands.
Okay.
The reed will not even go in your mouth. It'll touch your lips. So you'll close your lips and then put it up to your lips. Voila.
It reminds me when I used to get my face stuck in the vacuum cleaner.
Right. I don't know what that feels like. It sounds like someone just clubbed a baby seal with that.
Now, is this plastic mold or is this an actual turkey?
No, that's the actual turkey bone. And here's the best part. If you're listening and you want a turkey bone call,
pretty cool right now.
Get in touch with us. Send us an email. We'll get you in touch with this guy. He'll make one out of your turkey wing for $10. What?
That's interesting.
Yeah, I bought this one directly from him for 30.
That's actually interesting.
And he'll put your, he's
Another-
got his name on it and the number of the call.
That's an interesting way of keeping another token from your trophy.
How is that?
Yeah,
How awesome
that's
is
actually
that?
pretty cool.
That's what I see. Because I don't do mounts. I don't do full
Yeah,
mounts.
sure.
I don't do head mounts. I don't do those.
Okay.
I'll keep the horns. Excuse me, and I'll display them in some sort of fashion. But this is
Sure.
what this means more to me than the turkey mount itself.
That's cool.
So it's just kind of my thing. So I'm gonna send. I've got 4 turkey wings. I'm gonna send off to him, and I'm gonna have 4 turkey calls done, which I'd like to give. Obviously one
Sure.
away on the show, but. I just thought that was from last week, so I wanted to kind of bring that up. I forgot to bring it last week, so there it is. There's the
Okay.
turkey call. So voila, we're in good.
I love it.
So there you have it.
You want
Mike?
to do? You want to do some? Is that you?
I got everything. I got.
What
Mike?
is?
I'm sorry. Everything's muted.
I
don't
think you
know.
just won the jackpot. Was that your lottery app?
That was my.
I think it just came in.
That was my bingo app.
Rodney, let's talk about some top news.
Let's
You
do
wanna?
it. Let's do it.
Not a lot. What we must be between seasons or seasons.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of openings
Yeah, there's
and
not.
closings right
That's
now
exactly
with
right.
seasons.
That's exactly right. What we are is, we're at the end. We're at the end of where the fishing kind of goes good or bad, and
Okay.
then all the seasons start in late August.
Okay, so,
So we'll start archery season again. So right now everybody's getting in that mode to prepare.
we're in the wait and see season right now.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just-
That's exactly right. We're in the wait and see season. So that's where we are. So everybody's, I went out. By the way, when I went out scouting a couple weeks ago, I got poison ivy. I haven't had
Good
that
for
in
you,
20
man.
years.
Really?
That's a lot of fun. You should try that sometimes.
Were you? How long after the fact were you aware that you got it? I mean, did you touch it and go, "Ooh, that's not going to be good," or was it?
I never
later?
saw it.
Okay.
I never saw it. So here's the problem with poison ivy. Poison ivy is not actually poison. It just produces an oil that some people are allergic to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if it can be on your shirt long after the fact,
Okay.
which I think was my case, that I sat on the seat of my truck and then, I don't know, something happened and then I got it on my back. So yeah, that's absolutely, just a lot of fun, man. You should try that sometime.
So you were in the middle of the night and it snuck up on you. And you
So
realized,
I started itching, and then I went, wait a minute. I feel bumps back there. So I looked in the mirror, and I saw the little
Ay,
blisters.
caramba.
I knew right away what it was, and I was like, okay, calamine lotion, cranked it up right away. And the problem with that, it takes about 7 to 21 days to go away. So it flares up, and you keep calamine lotion on it to keep the itch down and dry it out.
Was it a mild case or?
Yeah, it's a mild case. It's 2 blotches about as big as both your hands, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Sure.
And it just itches a lot.
Okay.
I whine a lot. I go, oh, this itches.
And so how did you know it was?
Because I've
Was it
had
a different kind of whining than normal? Or
Yeah,
was it
it's like
outside of
that
your normal?
itches, whine versus wow, that itches. It's the poison ivy itch whine.
Rodney, the FWC invites communities to submit proposals for $800. I can't even say that amount. $825,000 in bear conflict reduction
I saw that.
funding.
I'm impressed by that.
So here's our chance to spend $825,000. Let's have a little fun with this, if you want to.
Yeah.
The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, the FWC, invites counties and other local governments to submit proposals so that the agency can effectively distribute the state funding for reducing bear conflict in Florida communities. Rodney, in English, please, if you would translate.
So basically, what they want is they want your opinion, especially if you live in these bear-infested areas. What can we do? We have almost $1 million. Let's take
Yeah,
this
that's
$1 million
right.
and let's apply it in a beer. In beer. Let's just get a bunch of beer.
Rodney.
In a fashion where we can deter these bears. What are your ideals, especially if you live there? What are you doing that you can see that this money could be applied?
Yeah.
My first shot is hire 2 or 3 people. You can hire them at minimum wage. We got tons of county vehicles just to drive around and look for people feeding bears and with notices saying your garbage can's left out or something to that effect. I don't even know where all this is. Mine's all muted. I promise. Mike, don't.
This is called sensory overload.
This is sensory. So that's take $60,000 a year, hire 2 people at $30,000 a year to drive around and look for situations.
Well, because the fact matters, they have, like you say, almost $1 million, $825,000 now to distribute for people who have. It's your opportunity to propose.
Is that me or you?
I think you need to fasten your seatbelt because we're getting ready to hit some turbulence, if you don't mind.
The no smoking sign is now on from the captain.
So here's kind of some of the parameters before we get crazy throwing out our ideas, Mr. Mr. Rogers.
Yes. Hit us with the parameters.
Okay, here's parameters. There's always parameters. $825,000 funding will be dedicated to programs that are committed to taking a bear-wise approach and can demonstrate a measurable reduction in the human/bear interactions. Governor Rick Scott and the Florida legislature invested $500,000. The FWC Foundation threw in $325,000 from the proceeds of the Conserve Wildlife license plate.
Well, think about that for a minute.
Okay,
proceed.
Thank you.
I just wanted you to think.
I did. That was like a second. But also, I wasn't noticing in this article on where the proceeds, doesn't the proceeds from the last bear hunt, shouldn't they factor in here? I didn't see anything specifically about that.
Yeah, it's probably a factor of a couple different things.
Okay.
The fact that they pulled $325,000 from the tags, the license plates, to me is absolutely amazing. They probably allocated.
That's a good chunk
yeah,
and change.
Absolutely. They probably allocated the money to the last bear hunt, and we can find out because it's all public records.
Okay.
To the new bear study. You know what I mean? Because it didn't take that much money in on the last bear hunt because they only allowed, what was it, 1,000 tags? No, 300 tags. I can't remember.
And how much a pop?
At $100 a pop.
Yeah.
So
here's the other thing. The Fish and Wildlife Foundation added said that 60% of the $500,000 from the legislature must go to local governments which have passed ordinances to reduce human-bear conflicts. Local governments have until October 14th, 2016 to submit their proposals. So first of all, rewind a year and a half, 2 years, whatever point. What is the problem here? We've talked bear hunts. People protest. We did a bear hunt. It didn't go so well. But what's the bottom? What's your gut feeling? What the bottom line is?
Well, the bottom line problem with bear-human interaction, is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Well, is this a conservation measure, or is this a measure to appease the general public who's having nuisance bears in their area? Is this a hunting wildlife thing, or is this a city?
It's a two-part thing. Really is. It's both thing. So what we have is now. Or is
it all the same? Is it all?
I guess
with any animal,
it all
the same.
bleeds within the same. So we have a conservation measure because obviously we have more bears than we did 40 years ago. So now they're bleeding into the population. But the problem is we're building in the population where these bears exist.
Yeah.
So if we did not build in those areas. The fact is we've got 5 million acres in Florida, and I know I hunt a lot of places. Some of it should be reallocated. And what I mean is we've got barren hashtag RROR.
Yeah.
We have barren areas that absolutely have no wildlife, no trees, no nothing. Build there and reallocate those 30,000 acres to a place where the bears live and not build.
I'll say this. Here's the fact is we've done this show for almost 3 years now.
Yes.
And we've never had more interaction on Twitter than when I said you can flash the lights. The Twitter sphere is blowing up right now going, hey, this one's for Kim.
And they are flashing the lights.
Give them a toy to play with, and everybody's on board.
Suddenly.
And Todd got my attention saying he also got to meet Jimmy Houston after we left, and he won some glasses.
Oh, yeah. Todd won a $150 pair of glasses. Yeah, so, that was absolutely awesome. And, of course, we got to meet Kevin Van Dam. But
so I digress. Sorry about that.
No, so, yeah.
Here's
that's
the flashing lights.
That's our whole bear episode. We got to have proper management, and that's what this is. It's a culmination of the two. So Is there a right plan? Well, not if people keep moving to
Right.
Florida. I mean, there really isn't.
That's
You know,
interesting.
as much as I'd like to say, hey, this is in the perfect world, but as long as we have people
Well,
piling into Florida,
As we evolve, this problem is going to evolve.
that's exactly
It's
right.
not a static situation.
And it's not going to get better.
Here's the criteria for selection on them divvying up this money, Rodney. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
I got 5 basic criteria. And then I want to hear some thoughts, Does a municipality have an ordinance in place that requires residents and businesses to keep trash and other attractants secure from bears? So number one,
Do they?
yeah, are you leaving your bear? Are you leaving your? Trust me, come Monday morning, if I put my garbage out too early,
Association is on you.
well, no, there's whatever animals.
Oh, yeah.
Probably dogs and vulture. I mean, but it's scattered.
No,
If you leave it there
absolutely.
for an hour before the garbage man, it's scattered. I mean, there's nothing different from this, is there not?
No, yeah, except the bear will absolutely destroy it.
Yeah. You got to be a little more stout
Yeah.
than just putting inside a garbage can.
Absolutely.
But so that seems to be a common theme we've heard about over the last year of taking measures to at least keep
You
the
have to.
garbage clean. Don't
Yeah.
get rid of the reason they're coming in the first place, and it's
Absolutely.
food. It's
Yeah.
food driven. Period. Right.
The bottom line, and that's with all animals.
They're also looking at how many households with high human bear area conflicts are in that area. How much funding will the municipality match for the project? So,
okay.
hey, we're not just giving out money. Are you willing to,
Put in as well.
ante up as well? That's a good one. So we're not just going, hey, there's $1 million on the line. We'll take it.
Yeah.
You got to pitch in as well. What is the likelihood of the project that will result in a community-wide reduction of human bear conflicts? Of course, that's the purpose in the first place. And then how many residents and businesses are expected to benefit from the project?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's kind of a general thing. But number one, we got $1 million-ish, but you got to play,
By the rules.
yeah.
Yeah.
You got to participate.
What,
You got to ante up as well.
absolutely. And we got to see what's the most effective. Because if we start dumping this money in bearless garbage cans, is that effective? We don't know.
They raise $1 million, give $1 million away, and the problem is the same. Got a
Then-
whole nother different conversation.
Exactly. So, and getting those funds, I mean, you got to have input from the people.
So, any ideas?
Mine
You
is
got off the cuff.
Like I said, there's only a few areas where these exist to the highest percentage. One is Altamont Springs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's,
We all know. When you hear it on the news, that's where it's at. I mean, if it's build a fence around the neighborhoods, there's association fees, there's county, tax, property taxes. Surely we can put some kind of fence around the neighborhood itself. Can a bear get in, over, and around a fence? Yeah, but it's not as likely. So, I mean, there's other options. A fence is a long-term solution, the way I see it. We're talking, people patrolling. We're talking, obviously, the bear-proof garbage cans. Is there bear-proof garbage cans? Really no such thing. I've seen bears tear into steel drums and rip the rings right off the tops. So, where do you draw that line? What is considered bear-proof? So I think you'd have to do the research on it. You got to pay somebody to do the research.
It actually seems kind of simple at first, but when you start to put some thought into it, how do you?
Exactly.
How do you manage this borderline that you live
I've been
on?
kind of thinking about it since it started. I'm like, well, how do you avoid that bear-human conflict? And it's really the people. It really is. Is there any one magical solution? No. I mean, I think I can go out on a limb and say I don't think there is. I think it's a matter of awareness. Put out flyers. Start holding the people accountable.
Well, there's one thing, and you see it a lot with wildlife. I mean, we've had incidences with the gator. You see it with the gators too, as far as don't feed the animals, don't feed. There's a reason for this.
Absolutely.
I mean, and it's number one. It's because the animals are food driven.
Yeah.
I mean, they spend the majority of their life food driven. The
Period.
bears, the gators, whatever it is. So remove the reason that they're in there in the first place, or at least make it a detractor, make it harder to get to.
Yeah.
But you feed the gators, next thing you know, they're not afraid or skittish of you.
Right.
And they're going to come right up to you on the banks like that one did with you. They're going to, hey, what do you got for me?
Yeah.
And you want to not encourage that comfort level between the human and the wildlife. So that's the number one reason
And
they
that's
don't want you
any
feeding.
wildlife.
Yeah,
That's exactly right. Yeah. So what's that solution? I think you would have to get with the people of that area. Find out the ones that have never had the bear contact. What are they doing? You've never seen a bear. You live two blocks over from the guy that sees them all the time.
Yeah.
What are you doing different that he's doing?
Yeah.
Well, I put my garbage when I leave for work in the morning. I don't put it out the night before. Well, then you know what? Ordinance says you can't put it out the night before. So I mean, these little nuances that you can do to avoid that conflict, and eventually those bears will move out of there. They're like, well, we're not getting nothing here.
Yeah. Here's another thing I think is important though. When you realize when you're talking about, here's an opportunity to express solutions.
Yeah.
Your opinions. An actual legit. They're looking. Here's $1 million. We need Florida to help us figure out this problem.
Right.
What have you got?
Yeah.
Keep your mouth shut. If people aren't going to say a word, just they're going to go, I don't know. Let me,
this money
guess
will
what?
go to the wayside.
That, and next thing you know, we're going to have another bear hunt.
Yeah.
Then people are going to be, don't kill the bears.
Right.
I mean, that's where conservation and management steps in.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
If we can't figure out other ways to do this, which is what they're trying to do, because there was an uprising.
And they didn't do the hunt this year.
Yeah.
So they're giving you the option. They're listening. They're all ears.
Exactly right.
So give us another option because next year we're gonna kill some bears.
Yeah.
And I'll promise you, next year I'm hunting bear.
That's the thing. It's going to come back around. We're going to be
coming
here.
back, and I'm going to be part of it.
As human beings living civil life, we have to control the wildlife.
Yeah.
There is a hierarchy here, and we're on the top level.
That's exactly right.
So let's find a way. Throw it out there. We're here.
Yep.
Here's $500,000 to help throw into the community.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's going to be another bear hunt, and we're going to be back with picket signs going.
It has to be. Yeah.
I mean, that's what conservation is all about. Is it's FWC's job to manage those levels of the wildlife. So it's a fascinating
and a fine line.
Since we've started hanging out,
yeah,
I find there's a fascination with that the logistic underground side that people don't see, that they take for granted.
Yeah, they just they don't pay attention to. And there's way more to it.
It's a huge thing.
Yeah. So.
Hey Rodney, do you want an extra spiny lobster?
I do. Tell me how to get it, Mike.
You ready?
I think I know.
How? What do you got?
I can kill more lionfish.
Yeah, you can, buddy.
And get me an extra lobster.
That's right. Time is almost up to qualify for an extra spiny lobster via, the lionfish. That wasn't part of the presentation.
Okay. I was waiting for it was like the build up.
The lionfish challenge.
Yes.
Okay. 50 lionfish.
50.
That's all it takes to qualify for the lionfish challenge.
That's going to be my new rapper name, Fitty Fish.
Fitty lionfish.
Fitty Fish.
And if you get your 50 now, you will receive a commemorative coin marking your membership and allowing you to take one extra spiny lobster per day during the 2-day sports season, which is July 27th through 28th, a 2-day season.
Yes.
So you get an extra 2 lobsters. Did I say that right?
Yeah,
an extra lobster per day.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and you're not into crustaceans, that's okay. The Lionfish Challenge and the Panhandle Pilot Program have tons more to offer you for your lionfish removal efforts, from raffle prizes to the chance to name an artificial reef. That would be cool. Think on that for a second. Think of the reef name, Rodney. We might just do this. Just for naming the reef alone. Depending on which program you participate in. Since the May kickoff on May 14th, 46 divers have entered 6,568 lionfish.
Wow.
In the statewide lionfish program. 6,568 lionfish. 20 of those 46 divers have qualified for the Panhandle Pilot Program.
Nice. And they're harvesting an invasive species. And it's good eating.
Again, this is a whole nother, this is just one sliver of something that has really captured my intrigue.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've never been part of the lionfish harvest, but as a diver and just a wildlife enthusiast, I'm very fascinated by this. I want to get closer to it somehow.
We have that Keys trip coming up at the end of August, so I'm hoping we come across lionfish while we're diving.
I'd be very surprised.
I would love to actually spear some lionfish. I'm dying to try one. I haven't eaten one, so.
Let me say this here. There's more. There's other things that you also include. Put your name in for raffles. Mm-hmm. Barry Shively and Brad Riles won Neritic pole spears.
No way.
Do you know what that is?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, it's like a Hawaiian sling, and they're just
Okay.
spears. It's the narrative is the brand name.
That's the brand name.
It's
Pole
actually,
spears. Okay.
Yeah, Nordic.
A couple guys won the Zookeeper lionfish containment units. I guess if you got 50 lionfish, you need a way to contain these bad boys.
Because it's a hard tube that you stuff them in. Because remember, they got spines. So if you try to put them in a net, you're gonna get stuck like Chuck.
Gotta be
Not good.
Scott Stevens and Darren Murphy won $100 dive tank refills. That's cool.
Oh, that's 10 refills.
That's
right
cool.
there, bud.
Scott Forbes won an annual saltwater fishing license with lobster permit.
Nice.
And Brad Wiles won a gold sportsman license.
Man.
Now, remember this name, Rodney.
Okay.
Dave Garrett.
I like Dave Garrett. Dave.
Dave Garrett, he's out of Ormond Beach,
Mm-hmm.
is in the lead for being named the Lionfish King with 895 harvested so
Wow.
far. 895.
That's a lot of lionfish.
Next person in line is John McCain at 374, but 895 he's in the lead. Long lead by a long shot.
Yeah.
David Garrett. I don't know. I've been one of the outdoorsmen I've been stalking on Facebook. So I may.
Is it really?
Yeah. I may shoot him a message and
Have him call.
I'd love to chat with him.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
I'm just fascinated by this, and
Yeah.
I want somebody to fill me on the details. Who's been
Yeah.
there, done that, grabbed them,
And I want to
stuffed
do
them.
it. So
I would
bad.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really, really intrigued. So when 895, Dave Garrett is currently in the lead. Rewards include, again, just to recap, a commemorative coin to mark your membership, an event T-shirt, Lionfish Hall of Fame recognition. You'll be entered in drawings to win all these cool stuff, and plus your additional spiny lobster per day. To top all that off, the most lionfish will be crowned Florida's Lionfish King or Queen and will receive a lifetime saltwater fishing license.
That's what I'm talking.
As it, and
No, I was
get
going
the,
to
and
say,
get the
if
other
they would give a lifetime license away, that'd be awesome.
that's huge. Just never think about it again.
That's $1,000.
That's huge.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge.
Right?
Huge. That's like super huge.
No, that's huge.
So
That's huge.
there you have it.
That's all huge.
You've got mail.
Let's do it.
We get letters. We get stock.
Whoa, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Send me an email with all the details.
Another freaking email. Another freaking email song.
Mail time. Mail time. The mail's here.
Yeah, I'm a top flight, hold you tight, get you there by daylight, do you right overnight mail.
What happened was,
Ring.
I love that. I could dance to we need that on a
We
soundtrack.
need that on flashing lights there too.
Okay, lay it on me.
Yeah, Rodney, what do you got? Oh, this was me, right?
Yeah,
I initiated this whole.
Yes, you
newsletter.
started this whole mail thing.
All right, Rodney. I'm having a little technical difficulty, so I'm just going to read them over your shoulder if you
Okay,
don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
From Matt from Orlando, Florida says, "What is the reason?" I've wondered this before too. What are the
Okay.
reason that bass have spots? Is it a sign of a healthy or unhealthy lake?
Well, no. Well, no. It doesn't tell you how healthy the lake is. Bass have the spots on their backs, strictly camouflage.
Okay.
That's their thing. Now, they can lighten up or darken up. Now, that depends on the water that they're in. So, if you have a bass and he's real dark and you can't really see him, put him in your live well for 5 minutes. You'll get an
Really?
awesome picture. And what he'll do is he'll lighten up. He'll try to match the color of the inside of a white live well. So he'll lighten up, and his spots will absolutely just practically glow. And it'll be the most beautifulest picture you've ever taken. So if you're into big bass and wanting to take really good pictures, put them in a live well for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then release them. Take your picture and then release them. You're going to have a gorgeous, gorgeous picture with your bass. And you'll be able to see the spot pattern very well because they'll lighten up. They'll lighten up around the spots to try to camouflage themselves. So the
Okay.
spots just merely are there for the camouflage. That's it. That's why they're white on the bottom, green on the top.
Is it similar to the spots? Not similar to the spots on a redfish. It's a different story.
Yeah, it's a different story. I mean, there's a lot of theories of why the spot has, the redfish has a spot on his tail, but the bottom line, it's for a bass,
Okay.
it's more of a camoufage thing.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
that was a good question.
It was a good question. At T99 times 2 wants to know, Rodney, do you use topwater bait during the spawn?
I do not. I mean, it doesn't. You can. you'll catch the smaller bass, the little aggressive bass that are not spawning. But if you're going for those big bass, you need to use soft plastics and be very methodical in your fishing methods. So you want to fish slow. First, you want to keep track. If you have a favorite place that you fish, you want to keep track of the temperature of the lake that you fish. Once it reaches that optimal temperature, which is around 58 to 62 degrees, the bass are going to start spawning. So you want to be a little bit ahead of that spawn. So you want to be around the 52 range, the 55 range, and then start fishing soft plastics. And you can even fish top waters ahead of the spawn or even late after the spawn because they'll be aggressive and they're trying to feed up because they will not eat during the spawn. Remember that. The male nor the female. The only time they will is if you dump your bait right in their bed. So my personal opinion would be fish soft plastics underwater as close as you can to the spawning fish.
During the spawn, when they're laying their eggs, when they're protecting their eggs, when
That's
they're
exactly
not as
right.
active.
That's exactly right. Yeah, so it'll go down just a little bit.
All right. All right, I think we got one more here, Rodney. What is the reason the bass have spots? Just making sure you're paying attention
I
there,
am
Rodney.
paying attention.
Do you have any fishing superstitions or rituals?
You know what? It's funny. We were just talking about that. Hector was asking me that literally as I was pulling up in your driveway.
Really?
He has a pole, and he believes in, and, this pole is good luck. He said, I think I got a bad eye, but this pole's good luck, so I don't want to get rid of it. I do not. I don't have a lucky hat. I don't have a lucky shirt.
You're going to say a piece of clothing. You hear that a lot.
Yeah, exactly. People have a lucky something. Most fishermen have something lucky. It's either hat, shirt, and they'll wear that in every trip. I'm confident enough that I know how to fish, so I believe my know-how is my lucky charm. The fact that I know what I'm doing.
I'd be curious to hear some of what people have, some of the peculiarities they have.
Our buddy
stepping on the boat the right way or making sure.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
bananas
gotta be,
on the boat,
yeah.
the whole superstition thing. Our buddy Paul, he has a hat that he's had since I've known him. And when he don't have that hat and he gets on that fishing boat, he kind of does a little freak out, like you just forgot your wallet.
Sure.
The big
Yeah.
pat. You're like, oh wait a minute, where's my hat?
Yeah.
I'm not that person because I feel like if you're that confident in a piece of something, then without it, you're not a good fisherman. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Then what happens when you don't?
Then what happens when you don't have it? So my personal belief is I think I'm cocky enough to say I can fish without all the lucky stuff.
I think I can see you're cocky enough too, Rodney.
Is that the word I didn't?
No, I think that's great. That is good. So let's talk about ICAST a little bit.
So let's finish this out at ICAST. Mike, I know you and I were talking about the top 5 things that we were going to that we saw at ICAST. Yep. So we'll count down from the 5th and down to the 1st. How's that sound?
Because
what do you think?
You want to start with some also rans? Let's start. You brought show and tell.
Yeah, so I brought a little bit of show and tell. So let's.
Is there any of that stuff that's not on your list? You want to start there or no? I mean, right? What you got stuff, Rodney?
Okay.
Come on.
So let's talk about the bionic baits.
Okay.
Now, for those of you, I don't know if you can see that. For those of you that offshore fish, you're pretty familiar with bionic baits. So,
did you pull that off your bicycle handle?
I did.
You did, didn't you?
That's such a great idea. Remember those? Those, Mike? Who knew we could
that
fish
and your
with
banana seat? Yeah.
So, bionic baits are the number one. They've been around for 20 years. I got to meet one of the main guys of bionic baits, and I sat there and talked to him for a long time. One of the cool things about bionic baits is the fact that they have a wide selection.
Are you playing something or just playing?
No, I'm just going to pop on the website. I don't know if that's something you can see or not. But what it is they have what's called ballyhoo. And these are the things that we fish with. So they come into packs, and this is what we talk about when I'm saying, buy your ballyhoo pre-rigged or not pre-rigged. This is the company that does all that.
Do you want to show something from your screen?
If you can, if not,
if you can launch that little app I showed you.
Oh, okay, never mind. We'll scratch that.
Okay.
I couldn't launch that without your help.
Okay, fair enough.
So they came out and they got a patent off of a guy from the Keys that used to make poppers years and years and years ago. So they know the guy who had them and made them. So they gave us this one to try out and tell me how we like it. So on Rodney Rogers Outdoors, we're going to wear the little bionic bait popper out. I'm going to put this on a ballyhoo rig, and we're going to fish with it in the Keys on the 27th. So I hope to film that. Let me put this. I don't know if you can see it. So basically what it is, it's
good.
it's a little wooden popper, and it's a design that they've had for years.
And you're saying popper. That's just
Yeah,
a
it's
name
just what it
for-
does is as the line goes through the center, you see how it's cupped inside of there?
Yeah, yeah.
What it does, it kind of spits water out.
Okay.
So if you jerked it slow, it'd be a popper, but it's more of
Okay.
a spitter.
Yeah, yeah.
More
I
of
remember.
it makes a bubbler.
Okay.
So it'll spin and it'll make bubbles and it'll have a trail of bubbles behind it that the fish know, okay, these fish are on the run, so they'll come up and they'll hit it. So we'll put the bionic baits inside of here.
Got it.
So we'll put, and they make ton of baits, the sardines,
Okay.
the ballyhoo,
Sure.
the mullet, and then and that kind of stuff. So see what else I got, and of course, we got what else I got here, Mike? So we have a company that's going to make us custom, what's called. I found this that'll start from scratch.
Hold that up again.
This
Fish.
is.
What is that? A baby T-shirt
No, it is actually a dress.
for a baby?
Yeah, for a small fisherman. No, so basically what it is, it's what's called a buff.
Oh, that's a buff. Okay.
Yeah, so this is called a buff.
They look very differently when they're not on.
Yeah, exactly. So for those of you that don't know what a buff is, Mike's going to talk for a second.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, if you direct your attention to the center runway, Rodney will be approaching
tells me you're not
quickly on
talking.
his.
So
This is the Buff Fashion Show.
this is a buff. Do I look all Buffy? Look, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Is that that would be
So you'll have
style number 1?
you'll have a hat on.
Okay.
And they start from scratch, making brand new buffs, and we can have them made to our specifications. So with our new fancy logo that we got, we can have them put on our fancy logo.
Can you give me style number 2?
Okay, style number 2. You ready?
You know, I'm going to push this a little bit.
Okay.
This is my.
Can you?
oh yeah.
Let's see. So style number 2 would be.
As Rodney turns down.
Let's say I wanted, let's say an orange.
You want
orange
orange.
hat, you know.
Let's see. Yeah,
Say
I was
I'm-
hoping you did.
I went overboard.
No, it's good. So far, so good.
I go
Oh, that
here.
you went overboard over the
Yeah,
boat.
I'm
Okay.
overboard, and I want the Coast Guard to see my orange head.
That's good.
Because with
Yeah.
no hair. So if this can also be a hat. Does that make sense?
That's pretty impressive,
Okay.
actually. Yeah.
So let's say the young ladies out there just have long hair. They can actually, I can't do it. They pull their hair through here, and it just kind of
That's actually a good look.
their hair is out the
Yeah,
back.
that's a good look.
Good so far.
Yeah.
Or it could just be a neck gaiter.
Yeah.
Down on the neck.
That's what I like, just to protect from the sunburn.
because you get sunburn
Yeah.
back there. You know what I mean? Or
And buffs are designed to breathe well, right?
Yeah.
So you're not sweating on it, and they're not
the
creating
women
sweat.
can
They're just
do the
yeah.
guys can't really. They do the thing with their hair like this. If I had hair, it'd be more impressive.
Well,
But
yeah.
I kind of.
But those days are gone, Rodney.
And then, what's the last? There's a couple more other things that you can do with this thing. I don't know. But anyway,
That's good. That's cool.
how'd I do?
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take
So-
it. That's good.
We'll have those in the Rodney Rogers Outdoors fashion. How about you, Mike? You got anything? Did you find anything cool?
I've got my own buff over here. But due to the arm, I can't try it on
Oh,
for you.
bummer, man.
So what do we got? Let's talk.
Okay.
We got stuff. You want number 1? My number 1.
Your number one.
My number 1.
Okay.
Actually, it's not my number 1, but it was the first thing I saw that goes, okay, ICAST is cool.
Yes.
Right?
So I know exactly where you're going with this, and
Okay.
I remember walking up to it.
Let me find
This was absolutely. Actually, you and I both were impressed by this.
We were very impressed by
Yeah.
this. Let me find it here for you.
Okay, you got it?
Got it.
It's coming up. So here was Mike's number one, which was
This all has to do with me being
the tech guy.
left-handed.
Oh, yeah.
Left-handed. There we go.
You keep getting it all backwards.
Left
So-
hand is not a good hand to be doing this with. It's coming.
Oh, here we go. And we're in.
Okay, we're back live on ICAST.
There we go.
Okay, so this was the first thing I thought was, okay, this is cool.
This is cool. Why we didn't think of this, Mike?
It is the freaking simple things
Yeah.
that win for me. right?
It doesn't get any more simple than that.
A GoPro that you just screw on the top of your water bottle.
Wobble bobble. If you put your GoPro on your wobble bobble, yeah,
Because you always got a water bottle
Yeah,
with you.
always.
It's an instant tripod to set it down. You can hold it, use it as a handheld.
absolutely, and stable.
It's
And believe it
brilliant.
or not, that
Yeah.
heavy water bottle will
Yeah.
help you stabilize your camera.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
No,
a
it's
tech guy.
great. Yeah,
You know, okay.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. And they had so much stuff in there that we could use.
Yeah. Also, I mean, first of all, we talked about it last week, and ICAST is probably the largest fishing show in the world.
Yes.
Row, hall after hall, row after row, 10 by 10 booth after 10 by 10 booth of anything and everything from related to fishing, from wardrobe to jewelry to lures to lures to lures
Yeah, lots of lures.
to boats to GoPros to
Yeah.
buffs, and I mean it's all there. So it tends to blur
Yeah,
after a while
absolutely.
because it's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
You couldn't successfully do a show like
And
that.
that's
in
why
one
you
day.
got to go in there with stuff in mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, if there's something you want to see.
You need to go see those.
But we talked about it that day when we were there. It's the things that to go. Well, we talked about that day. Let's pick your 5 things here that's most appealing to you. And it's interesting as you walk the aisles. You're walking up, and no matter what your interest is, it's going to be different for you. It's going to be different for me.
Right.
But whatever grabs my attention, Mike Coy's attention, to pull me over to go, tell me about that thing.
Right.
Those are the things that intrigue you. It's not like look at 100,000 things and pick 5.
Right.
What things naturally do you gravitate
That
to,
you
or you
gravitate-
want to get
that's
more
exactly right.
information as you're walking these aisles? Because there will be those things. It may
Yeah.
be one thing, it may be 5, it may be 20, but those are the things that are going to go, hey, that grabs my attention.
Yeah.
A lot of the things were similar for us too.
Absolutely.
So let's do another one. You want to do another one?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Let's
what
do
we
it.
got? Let's do another one here. Here's this one.
That guy was cool. This guy was absolutely cool.
And these have been around for years.
Years. We
But I
used
felt
them-
like it was my
yeah.
first time seeing one.
Yeah. And you know what? They were real big about 25 years ago, and then they kind of dwindled down. And now that the fly fisherman, is coming back,
Yeah.
these are popping back in. Now, these are mostly used up north. Not a lot of people use them in the south.
Big for fly fishing, right? They're
Yeah.
float tubes is the generic name for these float
Yes,
tubes. So they've been
exactly.
around forever. And I think when I went back and looked at pictures of guys in the float tubes,
Mm-hmm.
I never realized they were floating. I mean, I realized these things were floating, but I always thought these guys were standing in water with waders, and this thing was just kind of around them,
Oh, okay, I got you.
holding their lures and their
Yeah.
tackle and the things that they couldn't, they drag it out in the middle of the
Right,
water with them. So I thought it was
absolutely.
more of a workstation that was floating around them.
Yeah.
I didn't actually realize they're floating and their feet
Yeah,
are
exactly.
probably dangling.
That's exactly right. And you
Yeah.
put fins on your feet, and that's how you control, and that's how you steer. So it's absolutely brilliant. And these are hard to poke tubes. I mean, it's hard to get a hook in these things.
Yeah, and the other thing that fascinated me about these is they're incredibly affordable. I was very surprised at the price point of these
Yeah.
things. I mean, the most expensive one was right about $200, or maybe a little bit more retail. I mean, it wasn't that bad,
Yeah,
was it?
well, actually, retail was like $139,
Yeah.
and that was the expensive one.
So I was
Or
like,
and it was super fancy. It was the pontoon one, the one in the back there, and it was like like you said, just under $200. It was super fancy.
yeah, I don't think any of them were over $200.
Yeah,
on retail.
Yeah, your baseline was $99.
Yeah,
Which was absolutely awesome.
very cool.
Then we got this guy.
Yeah, and now this is in necessarily no particular order, but line cutters definitely has already caught our fascination, and this was Kim's first time really seeing these, and she was
enamored by
Yeah,
these things.
that's a great way to put it.
Definitely caught her attention. She was like, "How do I sell these for you?" I mean, she was excited about the presentation.
well again it goes back to the GoPro mount on a water bottle.
Right.
It's simple.
Yeah.
It's effective. It solves a solution. It's
Yes.
the why didn't I think of that solution? Hey, I think we just
We
won
just got-
something.
Just pulled my slot sheeny.
And you want to know what the
Yeah, I'm
the
dying
Twitter
to
says?
know what the Twitter says on this one.
More lights. So there you go.
Ta-da! More lights it is. That's awesome. So yeah. So and this it's a useful product. And I'll tell you what. And Mike and we are going to sell these on our website. We're going to work a deal with Vance. Vance says he'll work a deal with us. We're going to sell them on our website.
Well, we just glazed over. Give us the 30-second elevator pitch on what the line cutters is all
I'll
about.
tell you what, it's a ring that cuts line, but it does more than that. And I'm not saying that as a pitch.
Yeah.
I'm saying it because I use it for so much more. I use it for underwater when I'm diving. I keep it one on each hand because there's so much line underwater. I've had hooks hook both of my gloves and just basically flip my hand around and cut them loose. You know, it's just it's so much more. It cuts nets. I've cut cast nets off the bottom with it.
It not only cuts, but it cuts.
Oh, it cuts.
I mean, he
Oh,
was
yeah.
doing heavy duty line a demonstration. This stuff just goes through like butter.
You know, my when I do my offshore rigging,
Yeah.
you know, you got to have those big pliers to cut a 100-pound monofilament. This right here clips it.
And it's there. You're not look around for my I mean, it's,
Yeah,
it's there.
it's on your hand.
And once you get second nature, you would be lost. If you got used to
Oh, yeah.
this, you would be lost without it.
What do you see that on my neck ring right here? I got the this guy was there too. This is Boomerang, and what they do is they make cutters that are on like strings that boomerang. But this is my line cutters, and I keep it on this line because I have this, and I keep my line cutters here so I don't lose it. And I've
Well-
had this for a year.
Yeah, people, because it's designed to be a ring, it's got a Velcro thing, so it's self-adjust. You can adjust
Absolutely.
it. But people are putting them on their fishing poles. They're putting them on their,
Yeah,
on their
absolutely.
side chains. They're putting them on their necklaces. I mean, wherever, just like I say, going to put
It's
them.
right on your hand.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I'm going to pull that. You can't pull that Velcro loose.
Yeah.
You just can't pull it loose.
But again, what's the price point? What's the retail on these?
We're talking $12. You can't buy a knife, a good knife that will last you this long and not
that's
have
crazy.
to sharpen it every 20 minutes
Yeah, that's
for
crazy, dude.
$12. You just can't do it. So yeah.
So what else you got over there, Rodney? As far as I have one more I want to
Yeah,
talk
go
about.
ahead
I wanna
and do
show
your-
you
yeah,
You
absolutely.
sure you got nothing over there? Your
I mean,
sunglasses? Okay.
I've got this guy. I thought this was really cool.
Now, about the bottle or the little skirt around the bottle?
Well, the bottle as well.
Okay.
The bottle as well, and I'm going to talk about that here in a second. But I want you to see this. Here's a little skirt that goes around your bottle, and what you do is, let's say you're fishing, and let's say you've got fish scent, and you're on the edge of the boat. So you're driving, your boat's bouncing around, and blah blah blah, and all of a sudden your boat tips over, and
Oh no.
oh yeah,
Really?
oh yeah, and the boat rewrites itself.
Now, obviously, this is not magnetic.
No, this is not magnetic. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
You lift that little tab there, and voila.
Slight
So-
suction. it's
Absolutely.
creating.
It's like a little suction cup. And it sucks. Pull that, Mike. Just give that a little pull. And tell me.
Well, I'm a bad example because my
Oh, you're neat.
therapist
Yeah,
says
you're-
I got zero strength in my arms.
Okay, but
But no, that's actually pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah. So, and I mean, and that sticks. And it comes in a couple different sizes. So here's one. You know, if you look at the bottom, it's just black. It's just nice and smooth. So it's a sucky cup. I mean, it will hold, your beer bottle to an inner tube. I mean, it will hold. I mean, it's just so much cool stuff this thing can do. So I was impressed.
Do you happen to know what the retail price on these are?
Like $4.
Okay.
Yeah, you can get 5 for
So
$20.
they're definitely in my budget.
Yeah, so they're $4. And ladies, here's what I thought of: you're doing your nail polish. Put that on your table. You know how your kid always comes in and knocks your nail polish over?
Kids.
Kids,
Right.
Yeah, kids. You're not knocking your nail polish over with this. You know what I'm saying?
That's pretty impressive.
It's just not going to happen. Guys, you're not going to knock your beer over. You put it on your lawnmower, your beer's bouncing.
Wow.
You know? So I'm just thinking. And then, of course, Mike, we got real snot. Are you ready for this?
Is that the coffee flavored snot?
Yes. Did you smell it?
I smelt it at the show.
Smelt.
I smelt.
Oh, so basically, what it is, it's line.
Yeah,
it's,
I didn't know that fish liked coffee. That was my first. That's my.
yeah.
Big,
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So we were
my
talking
aha
about that.
moment.
So this is the Java. This is the real snot Java, and what it is, it's a fishing line conditioner. Now, for those of you that fish a lot, this is actually a needed product. And what makes this so awesome is that a lot of people go, well, they have taboo. You know, we go back to the superstition, about spraying stuff
Right,
on my
yeah,
line.
sure.
Well, this is coffee scented. They have coffee scented tubes and coffee scented shrimp and
Sure.
coffee this, coffee that. You spray this coffee scented line conditioner on your line, especially on braided line. You now have a trail of scent that goes with your line. So
pretty
you'll
powerful.
actually go through this quite a bit. So I talked to the guy. I'm going to give this he gave me a bottle to give it, the old college try. He gave me 2 bottles. So I'm going to try it out. That ain't me.
me.
Might be me.
Hey, so let's do. I'm going to do the last one here, but I
Okay.
want to show a video because this sets us
Yes,
up.
do this. This is our number one, both of our number one
Yeah,
picks.
we spent a lot of time talking to these folks, but just watch this video and then we'll go into it after we show this. What do you call it? Oh yeah,
Yeah, show
Video.
the El Producto.
the video.
Oh, I thought we had voice there.
Oh, you know what? I thought we did too.
Okay, so we'll talk through this. So basically, this is this is me reeling in my largest red snapper of my life. I mean, this is hands down. This is a giant when it comes to red snappers. So I've actually not seen this video myself.
Oh, you probably haven't.
Yeah, I mean, I was there and all, but here it is. Now, this guy don't look big, but wait until I pick him up, and it just changes the whole episode. Now, we pulled this guy from almost 200 feet down. It was about 186 feet from where we pulled this guy down. And let me tell you what happens when you pull a fish that far down. If you look, his inner bladder is now working its way out of his mouth. So basically, we pull him from a deep.
It's the pressure. They're exploding from the inside
pressure,
out.
Exactly. They're actually imploding. So now we have this big fish, and we're trying to vent him at this point. So now we've got to get him back in the water, and we got to get him back in safely. So we have to let this air out.
So basically, you're puncturing him a little bit to let some air out, so he will sink back down.
So we let the air out from behind that bladder. We don't puncture that bladder. We let it from behind the bladder, which allows the bladder to deflate and allow them to equalize to go back down. Because with this bladder blown out like it is, he floats. He cannot go back down. He cannot swim. Now, this is Captain Tyler. Now, here, this fish is illegal to keep. We're in federal waters, and he was not legal to keep. And here we're measuring, and this is what we ended up with. 45 minutes of working on this fish, and this is what we get right here. This was sad for everybody. We couldn't keep it to harvest it and put it to good use. We could only leave it on top of the water.
And we actually turned back around to try to get him
We did.
revived one more
Captain
time.
Tyler says, look, unfortunately, this is a sad truth, and he's trying to puncture him now to, get him to go down. He's trying to get him to wiggle. We're trying to upright him, and this fish is actually just, more or less turns into shark bait at this point. So it was sad for us. We had to leave a 34-inch red snapper out there. So by all means, it was sad for all of us. So the tool that you and I found that absolutely solves this problem, 100%. I was impressed as soon as I saw it. Do you have the video of where it worked, or
I don't. I have.
Okay.
I have just a photo of it.
Oh, there we go. So that's the photo of it. And basically what this is called the sequelizer. These guys, we watched the video. The sequelizer is kind of cool because I'll pull it out of the package real quick. It has jaws on it right here, and you put it around the fish. You basically just clip it around the fish just like that. And on here, you set the depth. So we'll turn it to 50 foot, 100 foot, or 150 feet. Even if we caught a fish at 200 feet, we could drop him off at 100 feet, and he would depressurize. So basically what we do is we put the fish on here. We put a 2 or 3 pound weight on this side.
That's going to carry him down.
And that will carry him back down to his depth. Once it reaches its pressure, it releases.
This is amazing.
This is that day, and this is no lie, Mike, that day we thought we had that fish. My first thought was, how can we have a clip that, something that takes this fish back down and releases it? I swear to God, that was going through my head. So when I saw this at that show, I thought, this guy has got the tool of a lifetime.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try this out in the Keys.
Can't wait.
I'm so excited.
So I mean, that was again, it's simple, it's solution. Kudos to these guys to put something like that together. Again, retail on that was
$55.
$55. See, that's
$55.
nothing. Every boat captain should have one of those.
Exactly.
On there.
It should actually be mandatory, because we have mandatory tools. A venting tool is mandatory.
Yeah.
If you're going to fish for this fish, that should be mandatory.
Now, if you're using this, do you still need to vent them? Do
No.
You still? I mean,
Nope.
We've got other footage that we've kind of scrambled to put that footage
Yeah.
together, but I mean, there's footage where the bladders are just literally look like big tongues coming. That it's not attractive.
No.
It's a little freaky actually.
Yeah.
But it's just like, oh my goodness, what's going on there? And
Yeah,
it's real. It happens.
the grouper we pulled up, his
Yeah.
bladder was blown out.
Yeah.
So if that was illegal grouper, I mean, not illegal, but not
Right.
a legal grouper,
Couldn't keep
within,
it.
not within us, we couldn't keep it.
Yeah.
Then he's pretty much, if we can't devent him and get him to go back down.
Yeah.
So when you're pulling them from that depth, the key is to get them back down there. So that's why you need a 4 or 5 pound weight. So you need to designate a fishing pole that with just that rig on it, which I'm going to buy one, especially for this,
Put
with a
'em on.
100-pound test.
Yep.
And that way we can drop this guy right back
Sink him down that when you get to his point of release, he automatically released.
swims off.
He's free.
And they had a video there that day, and it showed him going back down. And then finally,
Yeah.
remember, it
Yeah.
just released, and the fish swam
What a
off.
good feeling.
So
Yeah,
I
that's-
thought this tool is the tool of a lifetime. And the only way to get this out there is to talk about it. So I told him, hey, dude, we're going to be talking about your tool on our show. So this is the Sequelizer. You can go to sequelizer.com. I even talked to Captain Tyler and said, hey, does that look like something? He goes, it looks like a great tool.
That's cool.
you
Can't
know-
wait to see it in action. I mean, we saw a demonstration there
Yeah.
in a pressure chamber, but I'm
So
really,
what I'm going to try to do is rig up my GoPro when I get down to the Keys and see if I can, set the GoPro on that rig. I
that'd be cool.
really want to see this thing in action, and I wanted to put it on our website. So I think to you and I, that was our absolute number one pick of the whole show.
Yep.
I mean, obviously there's a ton of things there, but in my opinion, that alone was worth its weight in gold. I mean, absolute gold.
Well, Rodney, I hate to break it to
Is
you.
that time,
It
Mike?
is that time. We got to turn
We're
off
probably-
the lights and
Oh, yeah.
turn
we're
it over
way
to the
past
next
it.
person in line.
So there you have it. So, Mike,
But I about said I love you. Like, hey, you say,
yeah, I love you, man.
Hey, man, I got to go. Love you.
yeah, I gotta love you
It'll
back.
become a habit. I hope that doesn't become a habit with us because when I say it to you, I mean it.
Yeah, me too,
Yeah.
Mike. That's what I'm talking about.
Just got weird. My wife is just cringing in the other room.
Hold on, I got something coming in on the
It's a
talk
good
back.
show. ICAST was phenomenal. Some cool people. Met some great people. Reacquainted with some good friends.
Absolutely,
And,
absolutely.
it was a good time.
We even had a listener pop in. Aaron Kerr popped in at the
Yeah.
show. I'm standing in a booth, and he goes, "Rodney, you're out there, outdoors, right on." So
That's cool.
that was pretty cool. So I wanted to give him a shout out. So for all of those, I'm gonna post up pictures of all this on our Facebook and website, blah blah blah,
Yep.
and
Do it, Rodney.
check us out.
But you got to get us out of town now.
You
The lights
gotta.
are going to get shut off.
I
on us.
know. Don't hashtag us.
Always a good time.
And as my mama said 18 trillion times, and I pray I get to say it half as much, you kids get outside and stay.